he's one of my long-time friends and mentors. And I asked him for lunch. And I remember we went to a very, I thought I was going to take him to a $20 restaurant and I had a budget. But then I took him to, he says, I don't go to such places. And I went to, very expensive restaurant. He offered to foot the bill, but guess what happened? I was like, no, don't worry, I got this. I had to leave my phone and go and get funds to come and pay the bill. But what I learned from that lunch association, that lunch we had, he gave me business ideas, right? Things that I would have never gotten anywhere else. He gave me links. Holla, holla. It's your boy, George Billionaire. And as always, Monday, my most favorite day of the week. And you know what happens every Monday? 12 to 1 p.m. we'll be on Capital on Hustle Hard. Now we've been doing this for a year plus, and today's topic, association, is going to change your mindset, especially after listening or watching this whole video on YouTube. Now association plays a major role in where you ultimately end up, and today we're going to learn about what your current association has actually made you become subconsciously without you knowing. Association is everything, and believe it or not, it influences you where you ultimately end up. Association influences you. Hey, it's your boy George Billionaire. Let's go.
Holla holla, it's your boy George Billionaire, and you're listening to Cappy Talk 100.4 FM, Harare's heartbeat, with yours truly, Becky K.
No better way to do this radio thing except to do it with Cappy Talk 100.4 FM, Harare's heartbeat. Everybody has round up. Everyone is sitting and waiting, notebooks ready. I'm sure at this point you already know how it goes down on a Monday. From now until 1 o'clock, we are going to be speaking to George Billionaire, who is our hustle hard coach. And he's saying, I don't want y'all to be hustlers for the rest of your life. You have to move from being hustlers to actual business owners, hustlepreneurs, if you want to put it like that. And I'm seeing the messages coming through. People are excited on a Monday. And the number one pulsar is here, live and loud, Becky. I'm hearing you loud and clear. Gezani Bruce in Domboshava, thank you for tuning in. 0904, thank you for tuning in. Who's this one? 0863, thank you for tuning in. Hashtag G. George Billionaire is in the building, and we are talking all things the power of association and the effect it has on your life. I will start off by saying, move. You're not a tree. If you can see that the associations around you are taking you nowhere, move. Nobody is forcing you. No one is putting a gun to your head with garori papo and safa like that. No, you can move. If you're not happy about the things that are happening in your life, you can actually move. Now, George, speaking about the power of association, but first of all, what up, George?
Holla, holla. It's your boy.
Yeah.
George Billy.
What
none
do you do?
other than Becky K.
Thank you so much.
And as always, the best place to be every single Monday
True.
to get that fuel up. This is the place where a lot of people come to get their tanks filled up.
Yeah.
With some amazing nuggets, wisdom, and inspiration to get them going. Becky, out there, life is not easy for a lot of people.
Zero.
Life is hard. But then what happens in life is that we got to keep on going. It's so important that people realize that the life we live was never meant to be easy, but you find that the people who keep on keeping on, even through these tough times, even when business and life is not going on, we must continue to go on. But most importantly today, when we're going to be talking about association, trust you me, that association can actually help you in times like this. And after this show, trust you me, you're going to actually analyze and review a lot of things about the people who you deliberately associate with, because these people have a direct projection of where you end up.
A direct prediction. So the people you deliberately choose to associate yourself with have a direct prediction of where you're going to be in the future.
That's right. So, last week we were talking about Dare to Win. The week before we were talking about success as an end set and everything. But believe it or not, your association determines your destination. Now, this is one of the most important topics I talk about in order that somebody realizes that where I am and where I want to be are two different places. But what's going to help you on that journey to actually get to that place is the people you are deliberately hanging around. There's a nice quote that says, a bird of the same feather fly together.
Yeah.
There's a quote that says, if you hang around the barber shop long enough,
you're gonna get a haircut.
Sooner than later.
Yeah, okay.
By the barber shop. Proverbs 13:20 says, if you in the counsel of the people you hang around is what you ultimately become. So if you look at your life today, where you are, what you have, trust you me, it is actually a direct impact of what you have exposed yourself to in the name of association.
Okay.
Now, I'll tell you, when I began the journey of air conditioning, I was not a seasoned entrepreneur. I was somebody who just began because I thought, hey, let me get into it. But then there's no way I could have become the person I am had I continued associating with the people who I grew up with, because our mindsets automatically were going to be totally different. Because now my goal is not to go out and have fun. My goal now is to focus on growing the business, saving money, making sure that I have stock, making sure that... So our conversations differ when we meet. And this is what happens with people now. We always talk about the chickens and the egos. The conversation on the table of egos is different, because egos are not so many, but their conversations are about ideas, about past experiences, how they overcame certain things, how they are conquering their visions, their goals. Now, with chickens, on the other hand, it's clucking, it's murmuring, it's complaining, it's talking about nothing productive. There's nobody in your group who is doing anything that is inspiring. And today, as we talk about association, I want to ask all the pulsers listening, do you know that the people who you are hanging around are actually channeling and directing you in a direction only that they have seen and are actually living? You cannot hang around with the losers and expect to win.
So listen, George, at what point do I become the influencer in the circle of association? If I'm going to be so focused on, who is around me, what are they doing, how are they directing me, at what point do I take the reins and say, I'm going to be in charge of most of the... Yes, I've seen how George is doing it. So I'm going to take that from George, I'm going to take that from Nigel, I'm going to take that from Tinashe, and then Becky is just going to make her own decisions, because that's a scary statement.
It depends where you want to be. A lot of people think that meeting these high-end influential people is difficult. But trust you me, it depends what you want your life to be ultimately. And I've said to so many people on the previous show, choose your heart. What life do you want? And I can guarantee you, like I said earlier, when I began my journey, I chose my heart. So a lot of people don't like to let go of their so-called friends. You like to be around the comfort zone, the people you grew up with, some of your workmates which don't have a higher ambition than you. I've said this quote 1,000 times, and I'll say it again. You don't know how poor you are until you go to a rich man's house. And what happens to you there, you get exposed, and your mind never comes back. So when we talk about association, trust you me, when I began, the only thing I did, I remember going to Dr. Chandiwana's office, Clive Chisenye's office, Tinashe Mtadisi's office, Zodwa Mkandla's office, Dr. Philip Mataranyiga's office, and just the association. They didn't have too much time for me. And this is the other thing. The whole day talking so much and nothing productive is coming out. You're not going to be something that you want to be 5 years from now.
Yeah.
You're going to be on the same job, earning the same amount. Nothing progressive is happening in your life because you chose to hang with those people. But because of my deliberate association with these people I mentioned, something happened in me which provoked me. The best lessons I learned by just being around them was their structure at work, what they did, how they treated their employees, the things they prioritized, the visions that they had. They wanted to grow. They were looking at, how can I scale up a business? And the conversations challenged me. And when I go to my friends, they're talking about soccer, they're talking about politics, they're talking about, this weekend, you should have been at this spot. So your association directly affects your mindset on where it should go. Once you are exposed to something, I always tell you, Becky, I remember there's one time I went into one of my mentor's cars.
Right.
I did not expect, because I thought my car was okay, right? And this is what a lot of people think. They think their lives are okay. They think, what they're living is okay. But when I went into that car, memory seats, you get in the car, the seat can massage you.
Yes.
It tells you.
It remembers
you. It greets you when you get in. People don't understand
they
this.
Don't understand those
because
things.
you haven't been exposed to it.
Yeah.
When you're exposed to it, to get into your car, trust you me, you're not going to be the same person. You're going to be like, that motor guy.
Yeah.
But then there's difference because of exposure. And exposure comes by the right association. There's a term here, insanity, that you can't keep doing the same things over and over again and expecting different results. I'm asking the pulsers and everybody around the world who's listening, if you keep hanging with these same friends over and over again, and you don't make a deliberate effort to change your associations, to hang out with people who have achieved, trust you me, 5, 10, 15 years down the line, you're going to be at the same place. So this is why association is key, and this is why it has made me become this daring individual. This is what's made me say, you know what? I don't understand people who say I've got 20 friends. I don't.
So what do you have? If you're talking about associations, am I talking about people that I see once in a while, or these are people who I hang around most of my time? And how many friends should I be having if I want to succeed and excel in life progressively?
Becky, I'll take this personally with you. Let me ask you a simple question, Becky, and this is to all the pulses.
Right.
How many of your friends support your hustle?
You want the honest truth, or you just
the
want
honest truth? 4. Out of how many that you so-call your friends? A lot. Okay, no need for a number, right? How many of these friends encourage you to keep going when times are tough?
4 of them.
4 of them. Now understand this. The people who you so-call your associates are these people who have a direct influence in your life. Now, if I look at my associates, trust you me, these are people, I may not meet them every now and then, but when we have a conversation, it's tracking back from the last time we spoke.
Right.
Hi, George, have you upgraded?
Are those now like associates? Those are the people that influence my decisions.
That's correct.
Okay.
Now, whatever you hang around actually determines what comes about in you. So, Becky, there's a way you talk because of the number of people. You begin to act in certain ways. There are mannerisms that there's procrastination. You don't push each other. So this is what I'm saying with people that you associate with, and it comes to time spent, right? In a day, there are 86,400 seconds. To people who are focused on what they want to achieve, they minimize the time with people who are not productive. To people who are not going to, George, are you trying to say that we shouldn't have friends? I say this clearly, and this is why I don't have a handful of friends. There are people I can greet, talk, I grew up with, etc. But understand, if there are people who are not contributing to what I ultimately want to be, there's a certain amount of time that I give them, but not too much. So when you hang around somebody too much, trust you me, what they talk about affects you. I spoke about this the last time. I do not hang around people who are murmuring and complaining and blaming the economy for why they are not becoming what they're supposed to be. I want to hang around with somebody who is constantly giving me some hope. Hey, George, you know what? Yeah, some say business is not good in air conditioning in June. But, at our workplace, we came up with a promo. We introduced this. We did this.
Someone actually just mentioned it.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
You see? So when somebody begins to say that, I want somebody who brings forth that light when I'm feeling dim. Right? And when you hang around naysayers, the chicken friends, are actually productive. And I want everybody who's listening today to do an audit of their friends and know how much time to spend with them. I'm not saying disassociate from all your friends you grew up with. No man can be an island. But if you have a focus and a plan of where you want to ultimately go, you will treasure the thing that is called time and how much you give it to people who are not adding charcoal and fire into your fire of what you want to become. I grew up with so many friends back in Glenora, so many friends from school. Trust you me, we can meet, hi, catch up, 1-2 minutes. But once you give it too much time, remember the conversation becomes unproductive. There's no friend of yours who's telling you about any achievements, any inspiration, things that they are doing to become better. And like it says, birds of the same feather flock together. You will end up becoming a sum total result of the people that you associate with. So association to me, as I always highlight, is of paramount importance. And people need to really look at it. We may give you this change your mindset. Mindset is about association, right? Whatever you give too much time to is actually what you end up becoming. Because association is not only the people, Becky. Remember, I've always said to people, if I hang out with you one day and I see what you do with your time, I can tell you what you're going to be in the future. If you're only watching series, if you're only reading romantic novels, if you're only waiting to go for dates and parties and this, and you don't have any time for personal self-development, I can tell you 10 years from now, this is ultimately going to be your cap. But for me, earlier on, before I even became an entrepreneur, I'll never forget, there's somebody asking, George, how do you meet these influential people, right? And for me, I was so deliberate by taking them for lunch. I remember there's a time I took Chamo Chiwanza. He's one of my longtime friends and mentors. And I asked him for lunch. And I remember we went to a very, I thought I was going to take him to a $20 restaurant and I had a budget. But then I took him to, he said, I don't go to such places. And I went to, very expensive restaurant. He offered to foot the bill, but guess what happened? I was like, no, don't worry, I got this. I had to leave my phone and go and get funds to come and pay the bill. But what I learned from that lunch association, that lunch we had, he gave me business ideas, right? Things that I would have never gotten anywhere else. He gave me links. Same with all these people that I've taken specifically to lunch. And imagine walking to lunch with your friends. What are you talking about? This is what then actually determines where you're going to end up. It's important, yes, to unwind, catch up with people. But if you look at the people who are deliberate about what they want to achieve in life, they don't waste their time with people who are not going anywhere. They are deliberate. They are incognito. They are not seen. They will tell you, I'm busy. They'll tell you, no, let's do that another time, because they are focusing on their craft. So to you who is listening, if ever you want to become great, your association has a deliberate, direct effect on where you end up. Because what you keep associating with, it's either doing two things. It's either adding fuel into what you want to become, or it is taking out from you. Remember my story about my dad?
Yeah.
When I wanted to start, right? Had I chose to listen to my dad, or to listen to my friends, or all those naysayers who told me, it will simply not work. Trust you me, I wouldn't be here talking to people. I wouldn't have serviced so many people all around the world with the product and service that I offer. So had I listened to that association, I would never be the person that I am today. But because I chose to wait, I want to become a businessman. Therefore, I need to now make it a deliberate choice to associate with people who have much to do with my future than people who have a lot to do with my past. Because people who I grew up with cannot tell me anything new. They know me in and out. They have no idea of what I want to become. They don't see it. But if I hang around with people who have been there, the greats, I've learned so much from people who've gone before me, which is why I say a mentor is key. A mentor is deliberately associating with somebody who is greater than you, and then they tell you what to do and what not to do. But if you think you can do all things through Christ who gives you strength alone, you are lying to yourself. Because imagine this, even our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, had a direct association with those 12 that he chose.
20, but
those 12 were his key.
Yes, and from those 12 he had 3.
Imagine
and
that.
From those 3 he had 1.
Imagine. But here you are saying, I have 20 friends. And etc. It does not work.
There's actually a message, question actually from 6629. If you also have questions for George Billionaire, you can send them through to 0719 100 404. Afternoon, Becky. Hey, George. Is there a difference between friend and associates? Please explain.
Definitely there is. And for me, I want to ask you this. You're only with certain people because you have similar interests and likes. I'm an entrepreneur now. Trust you me, if I hang around with a lot of people who are not entrepreneurs, they will convince me to go back and look for a job, because there's nothing as an entrepreneur that I can have a conversation with them, because we're on different wavelengths, right? A friend, like I said, is somebody who you grew up with. All of you like soccer. But look at this and make an analysis, right? Your friends, list them down. Simple exercise. What do you benefit from friend 1, 2, 3, 4? What do they do to encourage? Well, what are the positive traits that they have? For me, I am deliberate. I hang out with specific people because there are specific traits. There are things I want to learn. There are, there's a lot of wisdom and knowledge. They've got experience in certain things. But if your friend is just way bored, I understand, like I've said, to me, time is of the highest, most precious commodity to me. And how I spend it determines what I will be 5 years from now. So I made a deliberate effort, which is very unpopular to many, because you are saying, George, are you saying we shouldn't have friends? With where I want to go, I want to have friends who have similar mindsets like me.
Right.
Friends who want to also go and achieve and accomplish. You cannot tell your $10,000 stories to a friend who's telling you about $20 stories. They'll find it offensive. You understand? And in life, all of us have different seasons. But even the Bible says it. With the poor, you will always have, right? So you cannot conversate about $1,000 or even a $10,000 thing with somebody who cannot comprehend $500. It means you're wasting your time. Which means when you decide to branch out and become a better person, go and hang out with people similar to you. We have our own celebrity here in Zimbabwe, Madam Boss. She's gone now to America to hang out with people similar to who she is.
True.
She's a celebrity. When she comes back, she had 1 million followers. Trust me, when she comes back, because she's hung around
It's going to
with
add.
other she's the lowest in terms of followers with the people who are there. But trust me, when she comes back, that
Different
exposure, that association, it has messed her mind up.
She will never be the same.
She won't be the same, because
Ever.
now she's thinking internationally. So this is the same thing with you, Pauri. You keep hanging around with people you grew up with, so you're only going to end up
Within
at the
that
same level.
vicinity.
Ucharambori kumarain, and imba yokumarain is an achievement, but that's not it. But when you hang around with people who grew up that other side of town, in the high density, and now are living up there, it will provoke you and propel you to say, wait a minute, if they did it, I too can also do it. And it begins simply by the simple word called association. You only become what you associate with. Trust you me. You cannot go and run away from that. No matter how good you are, if you hang around with bad people, you're gonna change. If you hang around with entrepreneurs and you still have a job, trust you me. That's exactly what happened to me when I was going to that business networking forum with Pastor Victor. And trust you me, I was the only guy working there. And then they are surrounded by entrepreneurs. And I heard how they started. Look at me now.
Like,
I've also become it because of what I hung around. So let's not be people of insanity who keep hanging around with the same people who are murmuring and complaining. Because there's always something to complain about, no matter where you are in the world. People who complain about the weather, about the road, about the currency, about no jobs, about but at the end of the day, it's your life. And the announcement to everybody, there's nobody who's going to come and rescue you. This is the life that you are living, and ultimately you decide where you end up. And what has a direct effect of where you end up is your deliberate association with people who have to do with what you want to become, rather than people you don't want in your life.
Yeah. 9478 says we are learning new things here. Surely we have to change our mindset. Ndopa unonzwa this saying kuti waita mari wakunzi nevano vawakakura navo vakuti hauchada kutaura nesu nokuti waita mari. Now I understand. This is what it means. I need to move away from people who think like that. But if I'm not married, it's not like, now you don't want to talk to us because you got money.
That's right.
If I make money, if I'm around good company, good associates, they'll be like, good on you, mate. Let's go. Let's do something else.
True that.
Let's achieve bigger. So you just broke it down to us. Friends are those people that you spend a lot of the time with. You share your ideas with. Associates, from what you've said, are people that you tap into occasionally just to get like your mindset refreshed and all. How do you know that this is a bad association to be around? They may look like everything is going on, right? Pamwe imbava, pamwe ikuru, pamwe I don't know how.
Yeah, true that.
Yeah.
So
how do I know that mana wo Becky sama breaks teaser?
Yeah. For me, I've always looked at people who have impacted my life and always identified something. Whether it's the way they talk, whether the way they hold up themselves, whether it's the way their business has become successful. So at a distance, I've made a deliberate point to say this person is successful. Their business has been there 20 years. I like this about them.
Okay.
They've retained their staff.
Right.
I need to learn from this person, right? Some people say, George, some of the people you hang around with, morally, they are not right, they are not this. There's no perfect individual on earth. But the most important thing is be a sponge to the things that add up to what you are and the traits that they have that add value to you.
Right.
So for me, I choose what I want from somebody, and I learn and I draw that out of them. How did you start the business? How did you sustain it? You learn that from association. Do you know one thing, Becky? I'll tell you, somebody right now can win $1 million. And I promise you they're going to ask their chicken level friends what to do, because they don't have a plan. They never thought they were going to get $1 million. What they'll do, they'll buy a car, they'll go and party, they'll travel, they'll this. Very rarely will friends at a level that you are at give you sound advice to actually improve and retain and make more money from the money that you have. But when you go steps higher, people who have achieved will tell you, I had this amount of money, and at that time when I was your age, the most important thing now is invest in your business, right? Don't spend all your money on property, because property won't bring you back the return. It's a long-term investment.
Right.
Find a product and service, stock up, and then spoil yourself a little. Don't go and buy that big thing. All these things at an early stage for me helped me directly. That association made me to tone down. Yes, I had wings. I wanted to buy the latest brand new Go, and everybody sees I've made it.
Yeah.
But the association said, no, George, relax. What are the most important things? You need a house over your head. You need priorities. Imagine, Becky, how many people in this day and age are still people pleasers? They are living because of peer pressure. How many people? There are people out there who drive good, look good, but are not living the right life. And those people only lack the right association. It's okay, Becky, to tone down and to downsize our lifestyle and get yourself back up. Because in business, in life, there are ups and downs. But the association you have around helps you to say, I remember there's a time I sold my house to reinvest into the business. I didn't care what people said. I did that, and then guess what? I came back, and now I'm better. So that association helps you. But if you don't have a strong team around you, you will never become what you're purposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
So many people are in a cage because of their friends. They can never become great. And with the chicken friends, it's just like crabs. They don't want you to excel. They pull him down, pull her down. And if you're around such friends, no wonder why you are at the same place. Change your association, and I can tell you, you will change your destination. Hang around with success, and success will always leave clues that will help you to go on. People who are at a better stage are free to give you that knowledge, that wisdom, to help you to go forth. But waka analyze and you audit the conversations. Chete, look at the conversations you have.
Audit the conversations. To Garapazit right now, Ningi, this whole week, this is what we spoke about. What did I learn from it? Did I make money? Did I build my confidence? Did I make business deals based on this conversation? So you are ticking as you go along. Which is like, we are wind. You are break but I are wind.
Yeah.
And so you have to be in a mindset. Yekuti, I don't care.
But Becky, you know, with most people, and it's a pity, people don't like to let go of things they grew up with and those friends.
Yeah, because we don't want to be labeled
And you
horrible.
wonder why you will then be where you are 5 years from now today. Because it's a simple thing called choosing your association. You know, I was talking to my kids this weekend, and we said, what do you want to be? And they said they want to be the best, swimming, basketball, this, that. What do you have to do to become great? It's doing what others are not doing, so that you have what others don't have. It means yes, it's winter, it's cold. They're going for swimming lessons. They are putting in the extra. Friends are doing this, that, and the other. But because you want to be the best, you need to have laser focus. And this is where people don't like the word called discipline.
No, they hate
because
it.
you now you need to be disciplined with I'm not hanging around the naysayers, right? If I see them, I'm busy, I'm caught up, I've got things I'm doing. But guess what? People will celebrate you in public for that seed you sowed in private and watered and worked on. And then now people 5-10 years down will say, I wish I had done this. But that now explains why Becky and George were quiet all those years, because they changed the association. And the association said, Becky, plant the seed called a business.
Yeah.
Right? Begin to water it. Don't be too seen. Focus on that craft. And sooner than later, Becky became an amazing serial multi-award winning entrepreneur because she did, and she changed the association. And ultimately now she's become what she is.
Anzi, thank you so much, inspiring stuff. Thank you, Becky and George. If you have any audios of these, please, of this presentation, please, may you share it to batteries. If you want what we spoke about today with George, you can get it on our Facebook on Capital 100.4 FM, or you can get more information when you attend one of George's masterclasses. I really wanted us to talk about the masterclass that you recently hosted. I saw images, I saw pictures, and I was just kicking myself like I should have been there, but life happens. Talk to us about your masterclass.
Yeah, so the masterclass we had on the 22nd of June was principles and secrets that guarantee success. So I was just sharing with the 24 people who came to our masterclass, and it was amazing. I like small, confined, limited number of people. And we're going to be having another one very soon.
I like that there were more guys.
Yes.
I loved it. I was like, it's nice when men come up.
I love it when women come up, because there's this,
women
social... Women, I don't know why they think they're going to marry a rich guy and become this, that,
and they don't want to be the rich one. You know what I mean?
So it was a bit disappointing. We had, 6 ladies and the rest were guys.
Yeah,
and it's unfortunate that there are not a lot of women or even people who are willing to invest in themselves to actually change.
You said it. I can invest in anything else, but I feel like I can't invest in myself, so let me invest in something else. That's a powerful statement.
Yeah, so to people out there, we're going to be holding another masterclass soon. We're actually in the process of planning that, but we're going to be
awesome stuff. Let us know.
The masterclass is about changing people's mindsets. It's actually knowing it can be done. And on radio, we do give a couple of nuggets.
Yes, we do.
The masterclass is more intense.
It's more intense.
It's one-on-one, and trust you me, it's value for money.
Yeah.
There's no better investment on this planet than learning from somebody who's done what you want to do and can actually help you to become there quicker with the principles and the secrets, the nuggets,
Yeah.
the association, and all that, so that you can become what God purposed you to be.
George, a billionaire, hustle hard every Monday between 12 and 1 o'clock. And he came through, gave us some little nuggets on to control your environment, the association, the people that you have around you. So the homework today is do that list. And be honest with yourself. The people who are around you, are they the dangerous ones or you are the dangerous one? Who is fooling and who?